Okay, for this next part, we're actually going to connect the two boards that we've been working on together. Now, remember we talked about way back that you could pick equalizations for the microphone here. I'm going to go ahead and insert the brightest equalization choice. And I know based on the package that I got, that in order to get the brightest match for my capsule down here, it says that I need to use the 470 capacitor. So I'm going to take the 470 capacitor and in those sockets that we made earlier, I'm just going to line up the two leads for that and give it a good solid push in. And that's going to lock it in to be the brightest. For me personally, on these microphones that I've tried, I can always go back and put a filter on it and remove some of that EQ, but it's really hard to get that sparkle at the top if you don't. But hey, if you don't like it, you go back in later, pop it out, pop a new one in, and try and see what you think. So right now I put the brightest one in, and I'm just going to go ahead and clean these connections at the top where this board is going to go together. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. These boards are not screwed together, they're actually soldered together. So you're going to take the board 2 and slide it into the two slots on board number 1. Now that makes 1, 2, 3, 4 connections on the bottom, all accessed from this side, and 1, 2, 3 accessed on this side. So we're going to bring over our handy dandy holding device here and see if we can't get everything slotted in and set up. Remember, you've got a lot of components in here now, so be careful as you're slotting it in that you're not pushing on a component in a weird way. So there, that's holding that. So again, there's 4 connections here. They can withstand a fair amount of heat. So you kind of want, in this situation, the solder to flow down from the top board to the bottom. So you get a nice connection there. Because this is what's going to, 1, hold the board in place, and 2, actually make the electrical connections between the two boards. And the reason they did this is because it needs to fit in the actual microphone. So we had to have 2 boards go this way. So I'm going to try to do this so you can see from top and bottom. Tilt it just a little bit. I'm just going to lay a little bit of heat to it first so that it'll flow. Start on the top one, put some solder in so it flows, and then let it go to the bottom one, and make sure you can see that the solder connects both on there. Again, I'm going to lay a little bit of heat, putting my solder in above the iron, and then just letting it flow down to the 2 boards. Don't be afraid of the amount of solder you're putting here, because you're at very little danger of connecting 2 things that aren't supposed to be connected. So you're okay. there are 4 rundown connections made right there. You can see where the 2 boards meet. They're nice and shiny, and that should have definitely solidified the strength of that board there with 4 connections. Now we're going to flip it over. You've got 2 connections to make down here in between these electrolyte capacitors. It's a little bit finicky there, but only 1 to make on this side. So I'm going to start against my norm and do the easy one first. That was easy enough. Now this is the toughie. You do not want to touch the capacitor on this one. So kind of get an angle that works for you. And then stay off that capacitor. That works. Again, I'm just letting the solder kind of flow in from the top. And then when you do that, it kind of naturally just drains down to the bottom one. So there we have made 7 connections. And since we've made 7 connections, we have accurately established a connection between board 1 and board 2. So there we go.